Hello! This is going to be 5 Atheist Answers to Veritas 48, and I'm glad that you're asking intelligent questions. You seem to come from a place of sincerity and curiosity, and thus I'm happy to answer them. One, if you could choose anything to say to God upon death, what would it be and why? One thing I would definitely have a curiosity about would be this code of ethics that in the Bible you've got thou shalt not lie, and then God goes, that applies to humans, and then God goes and lies to Abraham and says, go kill your baby, and then at the last minute says, nah, I'm joking. So then God's able to lie. Or he says to humans that thou shalt not kill, but then great flood and everyone but Noah and his family are alive. So God kills. And there's this, matter of two ethical codes, but then you also have punishing people to hell for breaking these codes, which seems a little bit hypocritical because, like, if Hitler can kill, mass murder millions of people, and then God can wipe out everyone on Earth, like, where's the justice in putting Hitler in hell? I don't understand it. His ethics are more aligned to God in that sense. So I think it would be unjust to say that he should go to hell. Number two, what sort of sufficient evidence would you find sufficient to abandon atheism and become a believer in God? Locate on a map of the stars or on Earth heaven and hell would be a good one. Or maybe some kind of physical, tangible proof of souls existing outside the body, like floating around after you die. In the face of God, both seeing and hearing the face of God, because I need more than one sense to be able to validate. Plus, I need to know that this isn't a dream or an illusion or a hallucination or something of that sense. At least have the same kind of consciousness that I am in making this video. Number three would be, do you think the new atheist movement is ultimately a good thing or a bad thing? I don't think either way on this matter of good or bad. I think that there's some naturalism in it, that there's this contempt for religion is, it is almost people that feel like it's unjust that they would have to believe in this God for all this time, that now they discover otherwise. It's like, well, what the heck, it's this anger that results out of that. There's, I'm not a big fan of atheist literature, but, just, I think there's some injustice, plus the fact that atheism, freethinker, humanism, that is gaining momentum in as far as numbers, and it's massively getting more numbers in the Western countries. You've got like 10% more than 10 or 20 years ago in the US, and you've got, I'm not, as far as me, I'm not going to, step on eggshells, but I'll genuinely treat people with respect when they treat me with respect. Number four, what kind of decisions are affected by your atheism? Well, there's two things that are kind of linked together. One would be this, standard for morals that are just, top down, God gives the humans and they come straight from heaven and the humans have to obey by them, which I don't really believe are real or practical in an absolute kind of sense. Thou shalt not lie or steal, I believe, in context. If someone wrongs you, you can wrong them back, to whatever extent is legally possible. honor thy mother, thy father. Well, then again, what if your father's a rapist and you're and a child molester, and that has limitations. There's also, in thinking of like heaven or hell or reincarnation, it's, do you act morally because because the act is good, or because it gets you to heaven or avoids you hell? And that's just something that I think about, that if I were to act, I'd weigh different things other than would it get me to heaven or hell. Another thing is, I have respect for objects as they are objects, not objects plus they're sacred. Like, I don't believe that the cross or the flag or the Star of David is sacred, or any kind of sacredcy attached to objects. I think that's just, I don't understand it. Another thing is judgment. The old saying, judge not lest you be judged yourself. I think being an atheist allows me to judge on a more individualized basis. I know you've got like your Jerry Falwell, Pat Robertson types that are the Christian right, that aren't all Christians, but they're like, oh, well, gay people are bad, or stuff like that. That I don't think it's that simple. I think that what makes someone good or bad isn't dependent on like how they categorize their self. It's just like, it almost seems like a simple explanation, a simpleton's explanation of trying to create categories for people on their ethics. And I think having a more independent mind allows me to judge and allows me to interact with people on how I perceive them rather than what the Bible says. And number 5, what is more important, acquiring more true beliefs or not acquiring false beliefs? I believe that false beliefs have held society back, and civilization back as far as possible, and that the truth pops up when those false beliefs are gone. And this is in faith and in science. So, like, you'll have this belief that, like, praying to God will cure you. And this bubonic plague comes by. And these people prayed, they did everything that the church-state complex told them to. And they still had massive, massive deaths. That was around the time, the instance of the bubonic plague, St. Thomas Aquinas, and the printing press, the Gutenberg, I think those 3 things in general led to the Protestant Reformation, which then people were able to choose their own religion more freely, and then to the Enlightenment, which led to the advances in science, literature, finding things overseas, that has led to a lot of good. That just that basic questioning of what someone believed is false. Also, science does this too. There's look at psychiatric. A lot of psychiatry has been pure pseudoscience. People thinking that you could take a lobotomy and stick a needle through someone's eye and poke at their brain and have them be cured of whatever disorder, when it really just makes them into vegetables. So I want to point out, that's just one example, but the conclusions of science, not the methodology, but the conclusions science brings are, there's false beliefs associated with that. And I definitely enjoyed making this video. This is the 4th attempt, just because the other attempts are too long. I'm speaking mostly to Christianity and Catholicism, mainly because I'm raised Catholic, and my own adventures is that, I wouldn't even say I'm completely atheist. There's still, you know, some things I need to explore, and there's a number of questions that I still have. These are just like the best things I can think of at the moment that, you know, at 15 I stopped, like my parents raised me Catholic. At 15 I stopped believing that, but then I went into, you know, pagan and Wicca and deism and agnosticism. So I've run the gambit of religious and faith experiences, and this is a journey that I'm on that I think is enriching and enlightening and enjoyable, and I'm really glad that you asked this stuff. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Take care.